guys, so this quantum prophecies was talking about ground zero here, and I realized I should probably gematria at ground zero, and really it's such an amazing coincidence. This number has so many number associations, it's really ridiculous. For one thing, this is a 101 6 gateway. I know I've seen this before, but I haven't found it in my notes. It equals President Barack Hussein Obama. So they knew that. But anyway, but what I wanted to make clear, hold on, let me find this. So when I was first starting to learn decoding, I saw a lot of 116s different places, and we now know that this encodes nuclear explosion, nuclear EMPs, and those kind of words, or nuclear wars or weapons, those kind of words, in different permutations, like 161 or 116. But it's amazing that this actually encodes. See, this could be the zero right here. You see that there's a little space. It actually encodes ground zero. It's incredible that it really does spell that out. Not only does it spell out ground zero, but then it shows you the date when they're going to build the Freedom Tower. So ground zero equals Leonardo da Vinci. Easter Sunday, ground zero, President Barack Obama. Walker, this is interesting because in Tomorrowland, the main character, the little boy, and the main male character, George Clooney, whose name is above the title, his name in that movie is Frank Walker. I think this is a tie-in here. I have to just kind of think about the symbolism, though. Supreme Court. Oh, this one I looked up for you, Psalm 119. Let's take a look at that. Oops. Oh, it almost crashed, but it decided not to. Okay, so blessed are the undefiled in the way who walk in the law of the Lord. Blessed are they who keep his testimonies. I did scan this. It does talk about teach me thy statutes. It's hard to... Oh, I wonder if I'm somewhere where I can look. Oh, it lets me highlight stuff. No, it doesn't. Okay. I haven't read this enough to know which voice this might be, or which God they're speaking of. Most of the God voices are attributed to Yahweh. I'm a stranger in the earth, hide not thy commandments from me. My soul cleaveth unto the dust. Quicken me according to thy word. Now, this word with dust, most of the dust symbolism from movies, that especially if they have any 9/11 codes in them, has to do with the dust from 9/11. Now, there of course was dust symbolism before that. And dust symbolism is very important to mainstream religion. So it's just 9/11 was just like one line in that. When I watched Little Shop of Horrors, it was basically exactly the video by Quantum Prophecy says that this is one of the most literal, and I think he's right. One of the most literal showings of what's going to happen on 9/11. You have to see that video. The links are in the description box. But Little Shop of Horrors. If you think of the plant as being the banking system, and that it's drinking the blood out of the people associated with it, and eventually it's taken down, it tears a building apart, and there's a lot of dust basically in the end, and they eventually take the plant down with electricity, which and so many problems are solved by lightning. You saw the lightning here on the clock tower. The electricity in Little Shop of Horrors, and I think those are all tied to an EMP kind of idea. Because the electricity, what it did was it blew up the plant. But in terms of a banking metaphor, it cut all the power to the bank. So I'm trying to read this and decide whether this is the idea of the Freemasons, who have since turned dark, but they still consider themselves, because they to be good in the eyes of God, because they feel they have certain rules, and if they feel like if they stick to their rules, then they can just manipulate the loopholes and still be in the eyes of God according to them. So it says here at 78, let the proud be ashamed, for they dealt perversely with me without a cause, but I will meditate on thy precepts. So this also equals ground zero. So I think there are more things to know in here. This is the Quetzalcoatl, Marty McFly, and touch film. When the touch film idea, where there's always some film involved when Marty time travels, and it also equals time traveler. So this is, it's very so quicken me. I think that kind of fits in. I'm afflicted much, quicken me, O Lord, according to thy word. 115 is a Freemason number, and like I do say, not all Freemasons are dark. I believe that some of them do truly wish to uphold what is right. They have been infiltrated. Now let's look at the 123 number. Mine eyes fail for thy salvation and for the word of thy righteousness. Does that mean that he waited so long that now his eyes are aged? I want to know what this 123 number means. I want to know it all. Okay, so let's look at the 119. Thou putteth away all the wicked of the earth like dross. All right. Therefore, I love thy testimonies. So if that's the meaning of the 911, this could be the true meaning, and then just that the good Freemasons or the good Brotherhood, or whatever you want to say, the good secret societies would maybe hold to this. Meanwhile, the bad secret societies are out there, lighting fires and doing sacrifices, and then depending on if you think that Robert Zemeckis is positive or negative, he might have hidden warnings within this, portrayed himself as Marty McFly, and also he might have actually embedded a wake-up, a hypnotic wake-up within these three movies. So interestingly, ground zero here also equals Delaware, and this would be a 5-5. Now Delaware is the first state, and it tells you that one of the most important states is awareness. It has a 6-9. The 169th day is June 18th. And it's also the river that goes through Philadelphia, making a phi shape. Ground zero in the simple and English gematria equals Jehovah, which is generally attributed to be Enki, where Yahweh is attributed to be Enlil. So this also equals Mexico. It's interesting because if you take the other tie-in that I know for 9/11 to Mexico is that if you take the 269th heading that ISIS is sitting on in Washington, D.C., and if you haven't seen that video, please go search it. I also have, I think I might have a time-lapse of that, and I have a whole playlist of time-lapses for you to check out. Well, anyway, that heading, if you take it all the way out to its next natural border, and from looking at Google Earth a lot, I have discovered that it's either a body of water or a border between countries. So the first place to stop on that, coming from Washington, D.C., capital, coming from the dome of the Owl at Capitol Hill, goes all the way out to the Sonoran Desert border, and it's exactly 1,119 miles, and I think it's a 0.19 on the end. It's been a little while since I looked at that. So it's interesting that Mexico also equals ground zero. Texas equals ground zero. Ghost. This is important because of the 1122. Now we know that Yahweh in the Bible does seem to ask for sacrifice. Interesting that ground zero equals false flag and black hole. It also equals fracking, and that is much in the news lately. I'm not sure what to think about that. I don't know if if we have the whole idea of what's going on with that. I feel like they have free energy, so I'm not sure what they're doing, unless they're trying to create you know, just to create chaos. I guess that part would make sense. So I had to go take care of my kids, and I kind of forgot where I was when I came back. But this, I wanted to, we're still looking, like Leonardo equals ground zero. And since we're talking about these incredible codes that are hidden in the movie Back to the Future, it's worth mentioning the codes that Leonardo put in his paintings. So it's almost like, since these codes are echoed in the movie, that they're, I guess you could say, Robert Zemeckis is comparing himself to Leonardo, both by foretelling, possibly being clairvoyant and foretelling things, and then hiding it in, you know, pretty exquisite. It's just, it's kind of beautifully done code, really, and that was the same style as Leonardo. So I haven't done too much fine art decoding, and I don't know if this is the way that Leonardo would have hidden clues. But in the ancient Toltec, if he really was in secret society, the ancient Toltecs, the way that they hid clues, for example, in the sun shield and in the jade mask, would be it would be called a transparency code, where you would say, tilt this 6 degrees to the right, tilt another one 6 degrees to the left, and overlay it. And then do that basically for very important numbers. Like I would try 17 degrees, 33 degrees. And so just to show you, this was a total flip top to bottom, as above so below. And you can see that different shapes start to emerge. It looks like there's a person here with their hands crossed, and they have a face looking either way. And then in the Toltec, that's when they often show the bat god, and that's kind of what this looks like. It looks like a bat god to me. And then there's some kind of a glowing altar over here if you turn your head to the left. So I'm not sure, but I just wanted to show you how it is possible to take a look at these things. All right, well, just kind of based on the maybe loose premise that Leonardo equals ground zero, let's just take a little segue. I wanted to visit Italy, especially this place. Leonardo made a map of this, and as you know, I've been finding shapes in maps, so I wanted to check and see if I saw a shape here. So far I haven't seen a shape, but because he's really good at hiding code, well, so what he did, the story here is that he created a map. Maps were extremely rare at the time, and it would have seemed like a new concept upon seeing it. Cesare Borgia hired Leonardo as his chief military engineer and architect. Later in the year, Leonardo produced another map for his patron, one of Chiana Valley, Tuscany, so as to give his patron a better overlay of the land and greater strategic position. Maybe this is when they, first got the idea. No, it couldn't be, because this is the 1500s. Because the Cathars were making their cities into doves way before this. Well, quite a bit before this, yeah. Almost as if they had an ability to see from above. And we've seen those pictures, right, of the Virgin Mary and the Christ with the flying. They look like balls on fire. The UFO in the sky. So maybe they could see things from above. All right. Well, just to enjoy ourselves. So pack your bags. Let's see if we can go find this place. All right, well, here we are at this castle, and I had a hunch that we were going to find some Leonardo numbers here, and we did. This is a 1016, 161.8. So this is a phi, perfect phi, 1.618, and then backwards it would be 816, Bride of Christ number. So just to check again, Leonardo again. Equals ground zero with 101.6. So it's very, very similar, just an anagram of 161. And this is also the number shown on the, an anagram of this number shown right here on this sign. And there are a lot of codes embedded here. So I thought you'd enjoy seeing that. I don't think I've done this one yet though. Let's see okay. This very well could be a 119, right? Or it could be a 118. Now, 118 is also the code for, unfortunately, lots of stuff, but also death. This is a really nice castle. I don't want to take away from the fun of this castle. Look, they have open air movie showings here. Wouldn't that be fun to go in there and see a movie? I don't know. This could be, I think that I'm going to go with a 118. We have our 116. The 118 I call the Nefertiti number. And I think it is a Bride of Christ variation. It's not phi. So here's one picture of where we are. Let me back out and show you. This is the stronghold area. This is the area that he made the map of. Leonardo did. I haven't found any drawings here. But it sure has an interesting coordinate. So, and then also this river has a strange name. Santerno. Probably, you know, Santa, Saint, Satan, some variation on that. Let's come all the way out so you can see where we are. It's very close to Palatine Hill. Castle Sonio. It's almost on this line. This is the Castle Sonio. I believe this line goes back to Astana. Yes, I haven't. I keep meaning to do a more in-depth video of Astana. This is such an amazing place. I don't want to get too far off track here, though. We'll have to come back here. Well, this is one of the cathedrals, one of the main cathedrals of this place, and it has a 12399 heading. Or yeah. So that's a little bit noteworthy. Going this way is a 305 heading from the bottom to the top of your screen. That's like a UN number. 35 is the I, UN number. Just want to give you an idea of this town, so you feel like you've been traveling a bit. And the coordinate here is 4411, so that would be a 55 if you added it. All right, back on with our story. Sforza was the ruling family here, and I just happened to look at their coat of arms. Thought I should show that to you. Nice giant blue serpent, and most people say that the serpent is eating the man. I think we should also consider the serpent is barfing the man up in terms of a cosmic wormhole. I'm not saying that I know which it is, just saying we should be open-minded. Well, this is a tad bit of an aside, but the terrorists in this movie, they drive through in a VW van. So just to show you how everything is a symbol, especially in a well-crafted movie like this, VW van has an anagram of 1, 2, 3, and it has the 4 in it. And it's structured in the way of the 23 and the blind, the vehicle. Vehicles are usually blind, and this is the number of blindness. Very interesting. And then here we have a 924. If you watch the video that Casey at End of the Stars put up, and I have that in the description, you will see a lot of JFK information having to do with this Back to the Future. And I was going to take a look at this at Dilly Plaza. I was going to take a look at this in Google Earth, and I got a little bit sidetracked. Well, here I am at the assassination page. Let me find. So, of course, we have a lot of 1122s in the Back to the Future story. 1122s show up everywhere, and I've talked to you about its meaning in the long version of pi. Pi is basically God to the Freemasons. Well, I just want to show you that his official time of death, where'd it go? Hold on, let me find it. His official time of death is a 123 number, just like Save the Clock Tower, just like Stopwatch, and some and I probably found even more 123 numbers in the Back to the Future. So it's all tying in here. Just wanted to show you this. All right, so here are the Dilly Plaza, Dallas, Texas numbers. I just want you to notice that if we added this together, this would be a 13, and this is the way. This is the ISIS number, 7 times 7, Kingdom of God type of idea. But if you added it together, it would be 13, and then you would have a 1613. Down here, you do have your 22. Your 22.6, which is a little bit like the 922 that I showed you. If you add the numbers right here together, the 116 and the 113, which is the AM. and I've talked in other, I think I can't remember if it was this video or other videos about the meaning of the 113 and the 311, being Fukushima, and the dedication date of the Freedom Tower, which is foreshadowed in this movie. The other important 311-113 association, because it's a mirror, is the start of the long count of the Mayan calendar, and that's 3113 BC. And it's very important, and I think it's one of their base codes. I think these other Fukushima and the Freedom Tower are based on ancient Mayan sacred numbers, because ancient Mayan goes back to basically an Atlantis religion, which is probably the fourth age of the sun. So in the simple and the English gematria, Dealey Plaza, Dallas, Texas equals the secret conspiracy. So that was a conspiracy waiting to happen. And then in the Jewish gematria, secret conspiracy has a 123 number. It all ties in, just keeps tying in. Walmart has a 123 number. We better take a look at all these. Ursa Major, probably there's a lot there, and I haven't really studied enough to know. Well, you might be amazed to know that Dealey Plaza is one digit off of a 1016, which is ground zero. This is what they're looking at. Let me show you this. This is what these three characters are looking at. This is Marty's daughter, played by, oh gosh, I can't remember his name, the same actor. So it's a little bit of a transgender type of idea, a little bit of a foreshadowing of that, because the girl doesn't really look exactly right. Here we have the Statue of Liberty. I do love transgender people. I'm just talking about foreshadowing and prophecy. This is a hanged man. He's upside down. This is Marty's. Gosh, actually, I don't know which character this is. I can't remember if it's Marty's father or Marty himself. Well, anyway, they're looking at the Twin Towers here, and then this video says that if you flip this upside down, because this is the clue. This character here is the clue to flip it upside down. Then you actually see these towers falling straight down. But what I wanted to tell you was that this is ground. They're here looking at ground zero, and that's 1016, which equals Leonardo, President Barack Hussein Obama Walker, as in Frank Walker of the Tomorrowland movie, Psalm 109, Delaware, as in where the Philadelphia train wreck happened, right next to the Delaware. And it's just one digit away from Dealey Plaza. Now, Dealey Plaza also has a 108 in it. Besides it being a sacred number that you could write a chapter on itself, it does point to, it is a clock inference, because 10:08 on the clock, although in this movie the lightning happens at 10:04, but 10:08 on the clock is a reference to the Great Pyramid. It encodes the clock at this time encodes the slopes of the side of the pyramid. Okay, so Dealey Plaza in the simple in the English gematria equals the Lord God, Illuminati, pure evil, free energy, chemtrails. These are the pillars of the Solomon Temple. Worship, full moon, 55, geometry, and the spiral. So here's Dealey Plaza, where JFK was supposedly assassinated, and just like I tell you, there's always a 77 nearby. It's almost like always about this far away too. In the video link from Casey at End of the Stars, which you should go see if you're interested in this, and I think we should all see this. I don't think these people are done. If these numbers are going to repeat and repeat and repeat, they're not done. So we need to learn how to figure out where the next thing is and what it's going to be, because there are clues out here, and we can use this, because hindsight is 20/20, to basically back engineer the algorithms. So I do recommend using this as a learning tool. Well, anyway, that video that I'm referring to says that author of that video states that the place in oh gosh, what's it called? The clock tower. Excuse me, the clock tower area where Marty McFly is again and again, and where he always encounters the clock tower. That is a very close replica of Dealey Plaza. In fact, it's meant to be the same thing. Okay, so think about what we know about 88 miles per hour and how much JFK is tied into this movie, as well as 9/11. I mean, I wonder if there are other false flags in this movie that we should take a look for. And here we have an 88 gateway, the grassy knoll. The English and the simple gematria here are notorious. We've looked them up so many times, they come up again and again. Albert Einstein, Quetzalcoatl, Happy Birthday, Galactic Federation. English word, 4 elements, fountain of life. And then just to follow the number back around, and I don't know if you remember that 88 miles per hour equals 125, which was the pentacle, the 5-pointed star of 25, 5 times 25, and that equals in the simple gematria stopwatch. So that goes back to the stopwatch symbolism. And it also equals time travel, hypnosis, his right hand, transgender, and John Kennedy. So we're back here in Google Earth, and then they have an X marks the spot where Kennedy was shot here. I'm going to look at the coordinates. Okay, so here we are in a street view. Let's go back up so you can see. This isn't as fun as Italy, though, is it? I want to look at these headings here. But we'll do a little sightseeing first. There's a 35 and a 30 here. This came into the story. I saw these numbers in the story. And the license plate of the car was GG 300, so 377. So in the lower right hand of, right down here, you'll be able to see these coordinates, but I'll also read them off to you. 32, 46, 44, 54 north, 96 degrees, 46 feet, 31. Oh, there's a 3113. Do you see it? West. So that is the 3113 BC was the beginning of the long count of the destruction cycle of the sun, which came up for the Mayans, that came due in 647 AD, in which they began to experience the mini ice age that Whitley Strieber has been talking about, and I've brought to you in a few forms. I really do want to bring you the whole movie decode. I wasn't really into making videos when I decoded that movie, so that's why I didn't make a video. But there is really, that's another heavily coded movie, and they are referring to this here, because the X marks the spot. I don't know if I can get it back now. Oh, there it was. Okay, well, let me pause this and take a... I feel like I've given you lots of, like, really amazing facts, and if I just, had some more flash and, like, scary music and my fear porn voice, like, I think this video would be a wild ride. And look at this. So I laid this right over... there, you can see the little X. I laid it over, though. I'll show you after I take this off. But first, look at... So this heading goes from here to here, and the X where he was shot was right here. And look, we have a 213, which is a variation on a 123 number. This is the heading of the Oregon Roseburg shooting. And this is, sorry, this is stopwatch and so many other things. It's too many things actually to even say. 123s and 321s and anagrams of this very same number. All right, well, I'll click it off so you can see the X. See it right there? I'll just point to it with this. So first, he was headed on this road in this direction, a 255. And then he went this way. .346. And then he went this way. A 230, 44, and so 23, 44, and then it looks like looks like he might have been, you know, perfectly aligned here. Now, one thing I do want to say about this area, we've talked a lot about the Hoover Dam. We've talked about the mouth of the river, the coming forth of the waters of the mouth of the river, and just kind of the birthing idea. And 9/11, which codes into this movie, and I haven't seen 9/11 so much coded into JFK, but I'm not saying it's not there. I just haven't really studied it. This is very much like a mouth of a river, or even, you know, I would even say a uterus shape, which kind of looks a little like a torus. So I just want to point that out. When Marty is writing the letter to Doc to warn him of being shot, he uses the phrase terrible disaster, and I showed you this in one of these recent videos. This is the 411 Elm Street of JFK, right here. Also here in Dealey Plaza, in the English gematria equals 55, and we saw the 255 heading, which was the initial. Let me see if I can find the picture for you. Oh, there's the license plate. So this is the 255 heading. It's the initial approach before they went this way, and then this was the 213, and then over here it was another 123 variation, and that's where the X is on the street. Now, if you watch a video by that's on Casey's channel, it shows all of the similarities between Doc's injury and JFK, and many, many more JFK tie-ins with this movie. So this is the building with the 411 address, and if we put this, the name of this building into the gematria counter, we end up with a few interesting. We have our 33 Freemason number, 1980 and 1677. This came out. Oh, not him. This guy came up when I put in November 22nd, because he married his first cousin on this day. Did he? Or no, it was just 1677. Well, on April, which is 4/11, he was William of Orange was defeated. Actually, doesn't. Yeah, this is the same year. Was defeated by Philippe, Duke of Orleans. I wonder, what do you think it could go back that far? Do you think it could? I don't know. It's just kind of strange. I wonder if anybody's made this connection before. The license plate. This is the photo of the presidential limousine taken between first and second shots that hit President Kennedy. That's kind of horrible. Sorry. I'm looking at the license plate here. The license plate, if you add the GG, which is a 77, in plus it goes to 377, which equals September 11th. I mean, you cannot make this up. It's incredible. And then this is a 918. I mean, it's a 618, but it's very much like a 918. Now I forgot where. Here's one of the 918s, but there was another 918 right here. I closed it out. Well, very interestingly, you know how these numbers, when they match in all three gematria, I like to pay attention to it. So September equals, okay, so I guess maybe any number of September would equal this. That's probably good to keep in mind. So you would have to spell out 11th. It wouldn't equal this. It would probably equal something else. But so it equals September and Princess with all matching gematria. It also matches, contract, but not all matching. And then it also matches American Pharaoh. It seems like Obama just cannot stay off stage for very long. He's always got to come back in, take center stage. Oh boy, you guys, there's something weird going on here. I'm gonna end this video, and I'm gonna make another one. I think that we have another lady here in Dallas, and I think this is the phallus in question. And then when I come up to the phallus to find out its name, it's the Reunion Tower. Well, we know what that means. So Dilly Plaza's right here, and then we have the Union Tower, and then we have this. This is 77 coming right across here. I think this street, though, I saw before, this other street was also 77 coming out of here. Right, well, I'll take a look at that, and I'll come back. I'll bring you back here. I don't know if this is going to be the video that is going to get me in trouble or not. But look at the lady back out here. And I told you this was a little bit like a uterus right here. So it just kind of depends on how big this place is. This looks like either an ankh or something going that way. It's pointing that way. But look at the lady here. See her arm? She looks a little like she's actually doing an as above, so below. See, that's the as above. I don't know, I might change my mind, but let me just do a little drawing here. She's got a long neck. I don't know, which I guess I'll take it this way. Which is just like in Washington, there's a breast shape here and an armpit for her left arm. Oh, I can't move it. Okay, let's see here. I think this is a 352. Whoops. Now I obscured it. Might not be a lady. I could just be, you know. But there's like a corset right here. So it goes like this. Oh, it won't let me back out. Oops. Oh, and then we missed the legs, because the legs is all part of it at the bottom. Let me get a still.